Learning Objective 4 in Section A6.2 is to interpret the slope of a line as a rate of change. We can think of slope in a few different ways. Let me write a few of them down. Slope is the rise over the run. By rise, we mean the vertical change, and by run, we mean the horizontal change. So another way that we can write that down is the change in y, which is our vertical coordinate, divided by the change in x, which is our horizontal coordinate. Which of the following is not a correct interpretation of a slope of 2/3? A says when x increases by 3, y increases by 2. So 2 is our numerator, which is the change in y. It's positive, so an increase of 2. The denominator is 3, which is the change in x, which is an increase of 3. That's a correct interpretation. Let's look at B. When x increases by 2, y increases by 3. This has the roles of x and y switched. The x increase or change is 3, that's our denominator, and the y increase or change is 2. So B is the incorrect answer. Let's look at C. For each 1 unit increase in x, there is an increase of 2/3 in y. Notice that we could think of this as 2/3 divided by 1. So in that case, 2/3 would be our change in y, and the change in x would just be 1. So that's also a correct interpretation. D says if there is a run of 3, there will be a rise of 2. So notice that the run is the denominator, which is 3, and the rise is the numerator, which is 2. That's a correct statement. E is very similar, but it says if there is a run of -3, there will be a rise of -2. Is this also correct? Well, notice that -2 over -3 is the same thing as positive 2/3 because those two negatives cancel each other out. And so therefore, going to the right 3 and up 2 is the same thing as going to the left 3 and down 2. If I were to sketch a little graph for us, let's start at the origin, and if I go to the right 3 and up 2, I would get right there where I've plotted this point. This is the point 3, 2. If I were to do a run of -3, I would go left 3 and a rise of -2. That means I would go down 2. And notice, this is the point -3, -2. Notice that both of these points fall on the same line, which has a slope of 2/3. Okay, our last example. Fill in the blanks with the appropriate words. A slope of -4 means that when x increases by blank units, y blank by blank units. So this is a good just sort of general interpretation of the slope. You can put the slope, whatever value is given to you, over 1. And so we can think about the change in y when x increases by 1 unit. So when x increases by 1 unit, y, now our slope here is -4. I can write this as -4 divided by 1. So when my x increases by 1, my y decreases because the slope is negative by 4 units.